about this one out in L.A. last night, Jay? Warriors-Lakers. And the home team had a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. Actually, it was 19 points before that.
Well, yeah.
So they were on a fight. I mean, yeah, that's how it should be, right?
Yeah, the game's over.
Okay, not really.
Oh.
Have you heard Stephen Curry before?
Yes.
Yeah, he's trying to take over here. And one. 3 to go. Kelly Oubre Jr., he drives off glass. Remember, he's been the replacement for Klay Thompson. He's been good. He had 23 points last night. Warriors up by 2 with 2 to go. Hello, Draymond Green off the screen. He gets that to go. So now they're up by 4. Minute 10 to play. 2-point game. Curry crosses over AD and hits that one from downtown. And when Steph gets going like that, watch out. 10 to go. Dennis Schroeder, he gets the ball on the wing and almost throws it away. He had a really good game. He led the way with 25 points for the Lakers, but that wasn't good. Frank Vogel calls a timeout. 1.7 seconds left. LeBron James, he's got a good look here. We've seen him do it before, and it wasn't to be. The Warriors pull off the comeback after being down 19 points. Curry had 26 and 7. How about AD? 17 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists, but it wasn't enough. How big of a deal is this for the Warriors, Tim Legler?
Well, for a team like Golden State that's got a lot of new pieces, you can't overstate the value of a quality win like this against the defending champs. Down 16 in the game, and then to be able to fight through that, continue to plug away, and eventually get great contributions across the board in that fourth quarter. Steph Curry obviously had the big 3 late, but I look at the contributions out of a Kelly Oubre. The defense that Andrew Wiggins played on LeBron James was very important in that last 6 minutes. Draymond Green with a couple of big baskets in that fourth quarter. He's been quiet offensively this year. So for me, this is a confidence builder for a team now that's going to hit a part of their schedule where they can really gain some momentum. I picked Golden State to be a playoff team before the season, and I know it's going to take some time before everything really comes together as they continue to gel offensively. But this was a great dig down deep win against the defending champs. Doesn't get any better than that early in the season for Steve Kerr.
Tonight marked the 7th straight game Kyrie Irving missed for the Brooklyn Nets, and the chances of him returning sooner rather than later, they seem to be improving. We're waiting to hear if he actually practiced today, which would have been the first time since he played in his last game back on January 5th. Since then, he's been out for personal reasons and COVID-19 rules violations. Several reasons, I guess, as far as why he's missed the last 7 games. Let's bring it back with our NBA analyst, Tim Legler. And Tim, I remember talking to you when James Harden said a few weeks ago that he wanted to play in Brooklyn. And then we shook our heads at what it would be like for rookie head coach Steve Nash to try to navigate that big 3. Well, now it's a reality. After you've seen Harden KD's early success, what will be the biggest challenge when Kyrie eventually does return?
Well, I think it's maintaining the flow that they've had the first 2 games, Sage, because when you watch them play over the last 2 games, it was very clear each possession who was going to initiate the offense. And that guy would go, whether it was Kevin Durant or James Harden, and they would run some action, draw a couple of guys, and then the ball would come out of there quickly, and it ends up in the hands of another great offensive player who then would decisively attack. Well, now you've got role players spotted up around that. When you add another dribble-dependent player to the mix, it's really hard to imagine how they are going to maintain any sort of flow, because as it is, if James Harden and Kevin Durant are responsible for, say, 8, 10, 12 seconds of their half-court shot clock in trying to create that action, well, that means quick, decisive shots for their role players. But if you have a third guy in the mix that's also going to catch the ball and he needs to put it down to create his action, now I think you have a much more muddled offense. And I watched them last night, and I'm saying to myself, I like the Nets like this. And I know that's a pipe dream because Kyrie Irving is coming back to the fold here pretty soon, and they're going to have to figure it out, and time will tell. And I do think it would be foolish for any of us to say this is impossible to work. There's just too much talent there, and if it does click, well, you have a team now that basically can be unguardable with 3 players that can get you anywhere from 70 to 90 points on a given night. So I think it's foolish to just dismiss it. But in terms of flow and what good offense looks like in the NBA, when you have 2 guys on the level of Kevin Durant and James Harden, and then you surround them with the kind of role players they have, that has a really nice flow to it. The ball movement is where it needs to be. Kyrie, there's a clear delineation on who's going to initiate. You add Kyrie to the mix, it's a lot more complicated, and I think that's what we are all waiting to see. It's going to take time before you make a final determination on this, but I think even game one, you're going to see a big difference in terms of the flow of their offense.
Well, then Tim, what is the most important thing that they have to do to make it work sooner rather than later, especially considering Kyrie's history where things haven't worked well with him now for several years?
They're going to have to stagger minutes. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for Steve Nash. I think you're going to have to figure out a way to stagger their minutes so you're basically playing with two of those guys most of the game on the floor. And then obviously you're going to have all three out there to close it. But even that's going to be a problem because each of these guys, Sage, feel like they're always the best option late. When you have that many guys that are alphas on the court, I think that could be problematic late in games as well. But in the meantime, for the first 45 minutes of the game, I think Steve Nash has to do a really good job of staggering it so you only have two of those guys on the court most of the time. I think you'll have a better flow to your offense if he can figure out a way to manage that, understanding that they're going to start the game and they're going to start the second half. So that's 12 minutes probably right there where they're all out there together. And then the last 4 minutes of the game, that's 16 minutes right there that they're out there together. So what are you going to do for that other 20 that you've got to figure out a way where there's only two of them on the court? If he can figure that out and keep those guys happy, maybe it has a better chance to succeed.
Rookie head coach Steve Nash certainly has his work cut out for him. We hope to hear from Coach Nash in just a couple minutes here in SportsCenter. We'll let you know when we do. Tim Legler, thank you.
So last night, net gains indeed. James Harden's second game with Kevin Durant and the Nets. They were taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Eastern Conference Finals playoff preview, you say? 1:20 left in the fourth. Drew Holiday misses the layup, but Giannis has his back. Bucks up two. So now, Nets ball. Harden. Kicking to Joe Harris. Cousin for three on the wing. Nets take the 1 point lead. All right, back come the Bucks. Minute left. Chris Middleton over DeAndre Jordan. Bucks take the lead. This is going back and forth and back and forth. Nets ball, 45 seconds. Durant. Harden. No. But Harden follows his shot. KD, top of the key for three. The bench is pumped. Nets up 125-123. Just over 10 seconds left. Durant with the ball. And he gets, he got stripped. They stripped him. Bucks recover. They call timeout. So they got a chance. They're down two with 3.8 seconds to go. Inbounding. Drew Holiday inbounds to Chris Middleton. Middleton takes the shot, and no, Giannis is mad. And here's why. Keep your eye on 34. He's driving down the middle, and Chris, give me the ball, because there's nobody really covering me. I got KD beat. Give me the ball, Chris. Okay. Doesn't see him. Nets win 125-123. KD 39-6. Harden 34-12-6. And here's James after the game.
I know what type of player Kevin Durant is. You know, he's one of the best players to ever touch a basketball. He's God-given, 7 foot, can basically do everything. So for me, it's not trying to compete with that. It's allowing Kevin to be the best Kevin he can be. And I'm going to make sure that I can make him better and then make my teammates better. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
We've been in the league for James' 12th year, James' 12th year, my 14th season. So we pretty much seen every defense, every offensive scheme. We done been in every type of game, playoffs, game sevens, So we done been through a lot in this league, experienced a lot. And for us to bring it together now and combine what we've learned over this time and try to play great basketball, I think it was pretty seamless for us.
Let's bring in NBA analyst Tim Legler. Now, Tim, James Harden scoring or assisting on 129 points through the Nets' first two games, the most, his first two games with the Nets, the most in a player's first two games with the team in NBA history. What stands out to you about Harden so far in his time in Brooklyn?
Well, I think the first thing I thought of last night watching the game was if I found a lamp with a genie in it, one of my wishes would be to come back as Joe Harris. Give me an opportunity to get those kind of looks that these two guys are going to create, because you're talking about, Jay, maybe the greatest combination of just raw offensive power of any two guys we've ever seen in this league. And what James Harden brings to the table is his ability to facilitate offense, because he just occupies so many guys because of the threat that he is. Here's a perfect example. This should just be a simple switch. It's a two-guard pick and roll. But because of James Harden, you get two guys that linger at half court. So Joe Harris just runs to an open spot, simple pass and shoot. Here again, four guys shift to that side of the floor early to stop James Harden's penetration to the rim. And Kevin Durant, of all people, gets the easiest shot he'll get all season. And then his ability to beat any matchup. So he beats Drew Holiday, who's one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. And then he knows what he's got to do. Get downhill, draw the backline defender, and look at the opportunity that he creates for DeAndre Jordan. So when you look at these guys together, and they're both raw scorers, and James Harden knows he can go get buckets anytime he wants in the course of the game, somebody is going to have to accept that role of making the game easier for the role players, because those guys play a vital role in all of this if you're going to fulfill your dream, win a championship. And that's what James Harden does, because he has an ability to occupy multiple guys virtually every time he gets the basketball, and it's going to make life really easy for Joe Harris, DeAndre Jordan, Jeff Green, Landry Shamet, the other role players on this team.
I think you should save your wish and just be Tim Legler. Don't be Joe. You could come back now. Just spot up. I don't want you to run. Just spot up and shoot.
I wish. I wish.
The Beard, by the way, 26 total assists in his first two games with the Nets. Pretty good. Legs back soon to talk about if Kyrie's expected return will be good or bad for Brooklyn.
Oh.